Hey everybody, I'm Zee Garcia, and today I'm taking a look at the Magic the Gathering Starter Kit for 2023. This just came out not too long ago, and I figured I'd pick it up and take a look at it. So, this is going to, this is a product line that comes out every year, okay? So there's 2022, 2021 starter kits. This comes with 2 decks of cards ready to play out of the box, and a little guide, a little play guide here that is supposed to get you up and running, get you up to speed, okay? So I'm going to be discussing what I thought of this, what I thought of the cards that come in here, and the product overall. For someone who is new to Magic, I'm obviously having to, put myself in those shoes. I've played some Magic, but I did teach this to some folks that did not play Magic or rarely, or if ever play, and gave over the guide and sort of observed how that went, okay? So I'm trying to get as close as I can to that experience of someone who's never played Magic the Gathering. So, in here you are going to get, like I said, 2 ready-to-play 60-card decks. You get 2 deck boxes. You are going to get the play guide, and you are also going to get codes to unlock these 2 decks in Magic Arena. In fact, you get 2 of those, so that you can play against someone else elsewhere on your iPad, computer, what have you. So I'm not even going to cut to the table here. I'll insert some of the images, but I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so the 2 deck boxes, and by the way, I've purchased the starter kit for the previous 2 years. So I'm also bringing a little bit of that comparison to the my thoughts on this one, where I think this one lands. Is it a good one to jump into Magic with? So the 2 deck boxes right here have the symbols on the back, and then on the front you actually get an image this time. The previous starter kits gave you a similarly sized box, but you couldn't tell them apart. They didn't have the image in the front like this. So I'm glad that they did this. Small thing, kind of an obvious thing, but I'm glad they did it. The decks will not fit in here if they are sleeved, so be aware of that. Though I think for someone who's just getting into Magic, having them also jump down that collectability rabbit hole of treating these cards as precious things is folly. So I don't personally mind that these do not hold sleeved cards. They're just meant to hold cards. But be aware, if you intend to sleeve these and use them quite a bit, perhaps you do want to sleeve them, then they will not be going back in these boxes, okay? Speaking of the Learn to Play guide, and I'll come back, by the way, to what I think of the card selection in here. The Learn to Play guide I thought was really solid. One thing I got out of one of the people I showed this to was, as soon as you open the play guide, there's a breakdown there of the 5 colors of Magic. And I could really see that they enjoy sort of going down it and going, okay, because it's one of those things you hear like, oh yeah, blue is tricky, and white is all about a bunch of small characters, small armies or what have you. But having a little bit of a breakdown here is very nice. And I think, again, that's the kind of thing I want to see in a Learn to Play guide. Something to give me a flavor of what I'm looking for. Another nice thing they did in here was they break down the play area, some of the words that you need to know, but they do not go into keywords. They have instead a QR code here that says, hey, all the keywords you're finding that you don't understand, scan the QR here and go to the keyword glossary. And I really appreciated that as well. I think it's better than putting page after intimidating page of keywords in this simple document. So that works well. I love the grayed out image of a card there so that they can explain relevant information and remove anything that isn't relevant. Very well done there. The whole thing is nicely put together. Parts of a turn. Now, they will not go into every little in and out of timing window and when an instant can be triggered and all of that. But you really shouldn't be concerned about that yet if you are just starting to get into Magic the Gathering. So I thought the play guide did a really nice job this year. I thought this was well put together. There's even a little FAQ on the back with a few, can my creatures attack my opponent's creatures during combat? Like, no, you attack each other, the players. All of that stuff. It's nice. This is well put together. This is exactly the kind of thing I want to teach someone, or to have someone grab it and teach themselves how to play Magic. I don't need every little minutia. I just got to get up and running. And then if I want to fall down a rabbit hole of keywords and what have you, I can scan a QR code, go get that, which you will need to do. There's a lot of keywords in here, and that's the other thing I want to talk about. These decks in here. I'm a little bit of two minds about the cards and the complexity of these decks. They are not particularly basic, I would say. These are interesting decks. These you will go the distance with you. In fact, they're even like this deck over here, for example, that has the dragon on the front. It's a tribal deck. It's a dragon deck. There's a lot of dragons, dragon interactions, all sorts of things in here. And then the other deck over here is going to have a lot of +1/+1 counters. And manipulating those, it has backup, it has, as a keyword, it has a lot of, manipulation of those +1/+1 counters in it. So a lot of keywords, a lot of text on these two decks. So I was a bit surprised that these were not as vanilla as I expected them to be off the bat. And again, I am a little bit of two minds about it, because while I appreciate that these are decks that will help players grow into the game, they also might be a little intimidating at first. You're going to have a deck you can keep on playing, keep on learning for a while, keep on practicing. The ceiling's higher, but the floor is also higher. So for you to jump up on there, you're going to need to make some leaps. Your first game of this, if you're really going from not knowing how to play Magic whatsoever, is going to be a tricky game. There's a lot of cards in here that have walls of text that you're going to have to struggle with and look up your keyword glossary and maybe even make a couple of leaps of logic, to try to understand what's going on. Another thing I wish they would have included in these is tokens. There are no tokens in these decks, though both of them use tokens at least a little bit. So that's another thing that I wish was in there. But overall, what do I think of this product, the 2023 Starter Kit? I think it's a solid offering. For about $20, you get two decks that are well put together, that are not just a random selection of 20 cards. You get some nice control over here and some nice +1/+1 manipulation. You get a nice dragon tribal deck with some great interactions within it. You get a play guide, which works really well to get you up to speed, I thought, and leaves some of the scarier, headier stuff behind a QR code for you to discover, without being intimidated away from the book. Overall, I think this is a really well done package. And of course, you get those codes, which if you scan those, put those into Magic Arena, will really help you learn the game, because you can't make mistakes that way. And you will, hopefully have somebody to play against using these very decks, so that when you come together in person, you can play against each other, and then while you are away, pick up an iPad or what have you, and play the same decks you've been playing, exact same card composition. So very well done. I am a fan of this one. This is going to get an 8 out of 10 from me as an introductory Magic set here, as something that you can pick up and learn how to play, fumble your way through it fairly well, and the only things holding it back, like I said, are, well, the decks are quite keyword heavy and have a lot of text in them, and I do wish they would have included tokens, because it's yet another concept that could have been simplified by them giving me the little piece of cardboard. So there you go, folks. That's going to do it for me. That is Magic the Gathering Starter Kit 2023. My name is Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.